Hey gang, today we'll be hitting the anterior tibialis, or the anterior shin. That's going to be the front part of your shin. What this is basically going to look like, your needle lacrosse ball, you kind of kneel down, crank forward and back. This will be just smashing around, and then just floss around. You'll rotate that ankle, little ankle circles in each direction. So let's talk about basic anatomy really quick. The anterior tibialis, what we're going to be hitting is, this is the dreaded spot of shin splints. It's going to be this whole front part of your shin. It's important in extending, getting that nice gymnastic sort of ballet foot away from the yoga foot. Nice big point. And so this is what helps pull that thing up to that yoga foot. So what the basic points of performance for the mobility smash, we're going to spend 4 minutes on each shin. For smashing, you want to make sure that the weight's more in your knee so that ankle is free. That way when you start flossing around, you can move the ankle around freely. And with the same sided hand, you'll take that same hand and guide that lacrosse ball, put it exactly where you want, rather than just sort of moving, wiggling about. And as you get more towards the ankle itself, the physical sensation of the smashing is going to change. As you're up here in the muscly part of the anterior tibialis, it's gonna feel like a deep, like good ropey knots. But then as you get down towards the ankle, it's gonna be a little bit sharper, a lot more tendons, a lot more ligaments. For the smash, or for the floss, what you're gonna do is you'll do little ankle circles. So from back to back, just trying to make that just little circles the best you can. It's gonna be pretty spicy, especially if you've never done this before. And as you get more towards the ankle, you can crank back a little bit, get a little bit more weight on the actual lacrosse ball. And you can also alternatively use an ab mat to really position that lacrosse ball so it doesn't roll around a whole lot. And so the actual execution of this mobility prescription is you'll start high, go down low, or you can go low and go up high. As long as you have a clean sweep, you'll spend about 2 minutes on each side just smashing, just sort of really putting a lot of tension in the ways that shin doesn't really get a whole lot of tension. And you'll just smash around, sweeping through, finding some really tender spots. And in the next 2 minutes, then you'll actually floss around and really hit those spots. Really work into it, put as much weight into that lacrosse ball as you can really bear. And it's really important also, especially when you're in this meaty part of the shin, you want to make sure that you don't just go in a straight line down. You also want to go a little bit lateral over here onto the side. There's also a good bit of meat on that part. So for the test and retest, I like to use the kneeling crank. So like the hero pose in yoga, you'll kneel, and then what you do is you lean back, so the knees are light, and then you try to hyperextend that ankle. This is a little bit spicy, especially if you have pretty junky ankles. Another way you can do it is you can just sort of pull that foot up into the yoga foot and then extend it into that gymnastic ballet foot, and see how much of a point, how much of a straight line you can get out of there before and after. So in terms of prescription, I would say anytime you have a jump in a workout, whether it's box jumps or jump rope, that impact force, this bears it. The anterior tibialis does a lot of bearing of that force, and if you don't land athletically, quietly, or softly, that can get a little bit junky. It's also something that I would hit if you know you need pistol squats, so that deep ankle range of motion, getting that knee pretty far over that toe, but keeping that heel down demands a lot of ankle range of motion. A lot of people will hit the back of the calf, but they won't actually hit the front part of the shin, and you want to hit both sides of that joint in order to really get a lot of work done and increase that range of motion. Additionally, I would say if you know you do sports that require a lot of ankle tension, like swimming, that like flutter kick, that's a big one. Any kicking sports from like soccer, that's another good one. Also, if you run, if you know you heel strike, when you slam that heel down, it goes like that. All of the anterior tibialis gets pulled from that, so that's where the shin splints come from. I'd say this is a great one-stop shop for any sort of front shin pain. So this is a good one. Remember, 4 minutes each side, 2 minutes just smashing around high to low, and then another 2 minutes flossing around with that ankle. Move that ankle around, do a little ankle circle. So this will be a spicy one if you've never done it before, and if you have a pretty junky ankle. So enjoy.